Good day, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Vivid webinar. Today's topic is 5 ways digital learning helps build amazing IT organizations. Next. Today's webinar is brought to you by Hewlett Packard Enterprise. My name is Rocky Pisto. I am moderating today's webinar for you. I'm a chapter leader in a number of areas and part of the BSM SIG. Thank you. Today's speaker is Jeanette Jacobs. She's a worldwide senior product manager for HPE Software Education within Hewlett Packard Enterprise. And just a couple of housekeeping notes. This is a live session. It's being recorded so that all Vivid members, if they're attending this session or not, will have the opportunity to hear the content for today's webinar. And we're also hoping that it becomes as interactive as possible by clicking into the question panel and typing in questions. Next. And on the right side of the panel, you'll see an area that says questions or chat, and that's where you can type in your questions. And again, we want this as interactive as possible, and your feedback can make this thing very interesting and you know, trying to get us through that process. So feel free to jot down any thoughts or questions. Next. So with that, I will turn it over to Jeanette.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for that introduction, Rocky. So today we'll look at how digital learning can support amazing IT teams, and hopefully you will have some pointers and takeaways that will help you to even become more amazing than you are today. We will finish the content in around 30 minutes maximum, leaving ample time for that interaction and the question session at the end. Based on our software experience and knowledge, as well as what we've seen with our customers becoming amazing IT teams, we have grouped together what we believe to be some of the characteristics that make amazing IT teams and how we see our digital learning solutions contribute to these successes. Amazing IT teams focus on business alignment to eliminate challenges faced by the need for increased communication and continuous digital learning. They are collaborative, minimizing the gap between the IT and business teams through open business outcomes-based collaboration and communication. They have elevated competence levels, increasing proficiency of all business and IT users to ensure the spirit of innovation, as innovation can only happen when technology is an enabler and used effectively and efficiently. These teams are disciplined, defining and documenting complex business processes, adherence to legislation, and meeting continuous changes and demands of the workforce to keep pace with the rate of change in business. They also strive for continuous learning at all levels to improve growth, maturity, and moments of need knowledge and enablement. We believe that without digital learning, these goals become a lot harder to achieve, and that is why our digital learning solutions focus on the enterprise as a whole. So the first characteristic that we want to zoom into today is looking at how amazing IT teams work with business alignment. And what we want to do is just look at a couple of these key business alignment areas. The first one, strategy-driven alignment, this is an area most commonly associated with alignment, but is actually the most misunderstood. And it really refers to 3 key things in strategy-driven alignment. The IT and project portfolio that directly needs to meet the needs and the wants of the business community, that IT projects and budgets can be directly tied to the company's strategy, and that IT investment forms part of that core strategy of the company. With operational alignment, and central to this element is the IT group's adoption and operation model, which for delivery of services and support. And this meshes with the company and the way that the company works as a whole. Plainly put, really, strategy-driven alignment is about what is getting done, and operational alignment is how it gets done. In particular, how IT services are delivered. And this is where our digital learning solution plays a major role in capturing processes and delivering this to the end users through key and critical enablement for them. The other area is calendar alignment, and that is all about getting the business in sync with the recurring calendar, the pace, and the timing of the organization as a whole. And it dovetails three interrelated areas: the IT vision, strategy, and budget calendar, the big events corporate calendar, and then the operational calendar of every business organization. Economic alignment refers to the set of budget allocations and making sure that that is tracked and reported correctly, and then how that meshes with the understanding and presentation of costs back to the organization. Economic alignment is required to ensure that everybody is speaking the same cost language. It sounds simple, but it often is not. And it needs to be able to track costs, because IT obviously tracks costs in a different way to other business units generally, and this can cause profound disconnect. So you also need to include education and training as part of this business budget. And if this is not done, then business's focused enablement that is needed for success is consumed by other strategic and non-strategic budget projects. So the inclusion of digital learning and education into economic alignment means that it becomes a viable plan, and it ensures that it is strategic enablement versus tactical point-in-time enablement. So lastly, the cultural alignment. We look at companies having personalities, and so do departments within them. Corporate personalities arise from a combination of soft qualities. It means that being sensitive to the big picture attitudes of the company towards technology, and also the personality fit of the IT personnel as members of the larger group. So some of the key things we consider with digital learning are an easy and effective way to capture and document these business goals, and providing enablement and adoption across these business areas. And we also review the transparency of roles and responsibilities, communicating these and setting expectations for cultural alignment through critical enablement. Having seen the various business alignment aspects, you will now also see how people and process threaten that success of an amazing IT team. As you can see from the pie chart, 50% of transformational adoption is related to people issues. And we'll now have a little bit of a closer look at some of those issues that hamper the transformational success and adoption. Every item on the right-hand side list can really be addressed by education. Resistance to change is obviously by far the largest reason. People don't change unless they have an understanding of the big picture view. They need to understand how they and others fit into the goals of the organization, and this is why IT and business alignment is paramount to build amazing IT teams and success. And they require the learning and documentation to drive this understanding. And this is where our digital learning focuses and delivers significant value to our customers. In addition to that, if we look at skills gap challenges, this is where people need to refresh their skills and allow for heightened efficiency. In addition, they require the skills and disciplines to operate successfully in an amazing IT environment. And sadly, skills gap challenges is often an area that is most neglected by budget allocations. Failure to collaborate is we're bringing teams together that are disparate with different goals and understanding, as well as different roles and responsibilities, and the need to have a common terminology and understanding so that they can create empathy between the teams and allow for better collaboration. And then lastly, the absence of trust amongst new and combined team members that traditionally used to operate in silos. This is also a major challenge for amazing IT teams and the transformational success of that. So I think, Rocky, let's ask the audience for their opinions on what top challenges they experience.
Great. We can bring up our first polling question, which is up, and the poll question is, which of these top 3 challenges facing IT transformation do you believe affects your team's success the most? Is it number one, resistance to change? The second one, which is skill gap to perform effectively? And the third one, failure to collaborate and align business and IT teams. So these, please take the next 30 seconds to answer this question, kind of help us understand your thoughts on this and where you fit in the category. This is always a great question, and I think it's a pretty general question, just in IT in general, whether it's focused on the digital world or any of the past solutions. Is it's tough to change. I think from what I've seen in my 30 years in IT, we never have enough skills to take on the new challenges, and part of that is education, that kind of thing, and then the silo wars within organizations not wanting to collaborate. So, Terry, let's see what the results are. Okay, so Jeanette, what we're finding at 48% is the failure to collaborate and align business and IT teams. That's the number one category. Next, resistance to change is 29%, and then having the skill gap to perform effectively is 24%. So it looks a little different than the chart you showed us before we did the poll question.
Yeah, so actually this is really great feedback, and thank you for participating in the polling question. So really what we're seeing is that you all are really experiencing failure to collaborate as one of your top challenges. And we'll touch actually in the next slide a really great introduction to just this topic that we spoke about now, and how digital learning supports that collaboration within the organization. So if we look at the second characteristic, we focus on collaboration here. And although this is a 2012 study, these disciplines are still fundamental to collaborative success. Collaboration is indeed a top priority for many business leaders, and you've clearly indicated now with the polling question. But knowing what makes an organization successful can be a tricky thing. After all, no two companies are the same, and their strategies and technologies can be quite different. So in addition to collaboration initiatives that come from different departments and budgets, they all have different use cases and corporate cultures, and the different departments also have different approaches and goals and measures of success. So if there's so many different varieties, how do we know what makes an organization successful? And really the answer lies in chess. Did you know that there are more possible moves in a chess game than there are actually atoms that exist in the universe? So chess is virtually infinite game, and really we can just look at how people succeed with an infinite game. And we identify patterns and we look for identifiable scenarios. So the same approach is applicable with collaboration. So having said that, here are some 12 common habits or success factors for a collaborative organization that we've zoomed into and that the Chess Media Group has captured here for us. But I want to really just zoom in and focus on a couple of them highlighted here. The individual benefit versus the corporate benefit. So we're saying don't focus on the overall corporate value and benefit when communicating collaboration to the employees. Employees care about how this will impact them on an individual basis, how this will make their jobs and their lives easier. And this is the crux of our digital learning solutions, where we make employees' jobs easier and providing them with the skills and ability to contribute effectively and efficiently, and therefore collaborate in a more particular way and a more profound way to the organization. So the next one that we want to look at is the strategy before technology. Before rushing and picking that new shiny collaboration platform, we need to focus on developing the strategy, which will help you understand the why before the how. And this is crucial to the success of collaboration initiatives. But for us, the key question is really how do you enable effective use of the solutions within your business teams and within your business units. Then the other thing that jumped out at me is learn to get out of the way. And I thought, what? What is this all about? So we know that trying to enforce and police everything stifles collaboration. So some of the best practices and guidelines are really fine, but we need to let employees do what they need to do and what they do best. And with digital learning solutions, we do just that. Our HPE Art Enterprise Learning Edition solution provides a great vehicle for employees to collaborate. It provides feedback to content creators, to process owners. It provides the capability for people to subscribe to feeds that help them to learn and to be more efficient in doing that day-to-day job. And then also that they can learn by tracking and reporting their progress through the learning and enablement solution. So when we look at competence, it is paramount to an amazing IT team. When we ask what is competence, it's the ability to do something successfully and efficiently. Can we all say that we are doing this on a daily basis in our daily jobs? Business is about constant change, and there simply aren't enough hours to keep abreast of all the change in today's fast-paced world. In addition to that fast pace, the rate of learning in this new style of business must be equal to or greater than the rate of change in the business, and this is a major feat to achieve. Knowledge needs to be refreshed and regularly available to the learner at the moment of need with anytime and anywhere access, as well as the ability for the learner to reference back to it whenever it is required. We can't know everything and we can't learn everything. We need just enough information at our fingertips to know how to perform tasks on a daily basis, and digital learning solutions need to provide that information to our fingertips in formats that are easily to consume and easily understood. You rely on resources in your department or across your organization to drive that success despite the rapid change. You have invested in hiring the best employees and providing them with the best software. The speed of change in the workforce demands concise, relevant, current and accurate information so that the users can stay abreast of that pace of change. Therefore, our software education digital learning solutions provide innovative and engaging learning methods such as how-to demonstrations, practice simulations, job aids, social collaboration and feedback, and personalized learning at that moment of need. The fourth characteristic that we look at is discipline. We all know these 5 key disciplines that are fundamental to an amazing IT team. However, do we ever think about how learning and skills growth is the foundation of delivering upon these disciplines? Our digital learning solution helps to easily capture and document processes and assimilate and share these across the business. In addition, it manages the workflow and sign-off processes of learning content to maintain standards and accurate and relevant knowledge to the users. It also supports consistency and alignment across the business, reducing risk and human error. And lastly, it provides alignment with agile development cycles and supports a cross-skilled workforce that is needed in today's fast-paced world. As you know, an organization can only be agile if the skills and efficiencies of the people that manage that process are aligned. So absolutely critical to look at how that and digital learning comes into play. The fifth and last characteristic that we want to focus on is continuous learning. Here, the example of the forgetting curve speaks volumes to establish the criticality of continuous digital learning. Why is digital learning paramount to amazing IT teams? I ask myself that every single day. This graph highlights how skills and performance degrade over time, impacting agility, knowledge, and best practice due to this forgetting curve. Bearing in mind also the change in organizations that we spoke about before that compounds this problem. So in addition, digital learning provides an enablement platform when roles change, and there is a gap between when the deep dive technical enablement becomes available and when an employee starts in a new role. Digital learning really helps alleviate this gap and speeds up that ramp-up process for the employee. This graph further indicates how over a period of 3 years an organization could decrease its capability by up to 60% as a direct result of the forgetting curve. This knowledge loss starts impacting our speed and agility, and thereby impacting the IT team to be able to deliver that superior business outcomes that they require. Other studies also show that within 2 weeks, or at around 2 weeks, if people don't use information on a daily basis, there is a significant reduction in knowledge retention. And this forgetting curve can be mitigated by continuous digital learning approach. And that's where we really focus in with our customers and work with them to overcome those hurdles. So what is our HPE software solution that helps grow IT teams and helps foster these characteristics of amazing IT teams? And it's called the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Enterprise Learning Edition. It is a powerful content creation, management, and distribution solution with the ability to support business alignment, as we've spoken about, collaboration, elevated competence levels. It helps to foster new levels of discipline through knowledge share within the business teams and a continuous learning culture. So our HPE Art Enterprise Learning Edition provides a single source, rapid content creation, documentation, and performance support to the end user community. It brings an enterprise-wide content management and distribution functionality to our customers. It is an industry-leading solution that incorporates rapid recording technology to ensure that all of the users and IT teams become contributors and can capture, share, and consume knowledge across the organization. Therefore, all of your employees become part of that knowledge base within your organization, which is absolutely critical because you cannot just simply rely on a single team that needs to now, with this rapid pace and rapid change in the business, capture all your learning needs. So this really, the solution that we're looking at is a solution that permeates throughout the business users and making everybody contributors to that learning and process of capturing learning and knowledge. So digital learning helps organizations establish a successful and amazing IT culture and allows you to overcome people issues that we mentioned earlier. And it does this through the ability to easily compose, publish, and continually update customized learning, such as defining joint business goals and objectives, sharing key roles, responsibilities, and context within the teams, establishing common terminology across business units and processes so that everybody is speaking and talking the same language, and therefore increasing that collaboration we spoke about earlier, tracking the project plans and tracking who's contributing content for which processes and ensuring that that is always up to date and shared at regular checkpoints, the provision of solutions-based training, which more focuses on the traditional technology training areas and capturing that, and with obviously a structured best practice guidance that we provide through the digital solutions. In addition, digital learning creates a single source content that is accessible to the business community and the users 24/7 at the moment of need and is personalized for the learner. This drives enhanced and open communication. So all of that collaboration and communication we spoke about earlier that is a great problem. Broader understanding and appreciation of the teammates' roles. So it's absolutely vital if we look at some of the new ways that DevOps is being adopted, that different people in different siloed business units now start getting better appreciation of teammates' roles through better skills and knowledge and learning in terms of that. And then higher competence levels across all of the team players. All these obviously contributing to new levels of trust, cooperation, and execution to deliver better business outcomes to the business. To learn more, obviously we've given you some links here today that you can reference back to, and if you want to reach out to the HPE Art or the education team, we've also included the links here for you to reach out to them. So Rocky, I think we're entering into the sort of question session now,
Sure.
And if we can just go through.
Yeah, I think we've, feel free to ask some questions by going to the panel in the questions area to type in what your thoughts are. I think from my sense, and I'm kind of familiar with the ART solution, one of the questions that kind of keeps popping up is, what areas of learning does the ART solution provide? Is it on HP products? Is it on, collaboration? Is there something specific that you can give us on, if I'm in a real world, how do I use the tool kind of question?
That's a really great question, Rocky. So the HP ART and our Enterprise Learning Edition solution, actually we have what we call the content that we provide for all of our Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Software portfolio solutions. And we provide the learning that we have pre-created through our subject matter experts that customers can then purchase, and they can modify, update, and customize that learning to meet your specific business process or the way you use the HP software solutions and tools. But in addition to that, which is really important, the ART and the Enterprise Learning Edition solution comes with the capability to capture simulations and build e-learning and training modules for really any other Windows-based application. So whether that be an Oracle finance system or a SAP ERP solution or a Windows SharePoint that you want to teach your users how to use, any Windows application can be recorded and built, and we can create e-learning for all of those applications. So really, as long as your elbow, as long as it's in a Windows-based environment, we can create, with our ART and Enterprise Learning Edition tools, we can create really advanced e-learning solutions and courses for customers. And then obviously, as I said, our out-the-box subject matter expert created content that we also provide to our customers as an option. Any other questions, Russell?
Yeah, one of the questions was, will the slides be available? And the answer is yes. This whole session is being recorded. With your questions, if we don't get to answering your questions, they will be sent to HP that will provide the answers, and it'll come back in the recording in a few days. So that will work. One of the questions we have is, please explain the license model. Is it still named end user or a real enterprise license?
That's an interesting question, and we've had many different topics since we brought the solution into our business 5 years ago. The ART and ART Enterprise Learning Edition solutions are named user licensing models today. However, we do have various different methods of providing the solution and learning to our customers. So we have interactive hosted versions of the ART content for our HP software portfolio that customers can subscribe to, so that it becomes a subscription-based model. Or you can have that on-premise solution within your client server environment where you can manage your content. Obviously, customers can also then put your content and you can upload that into your learning management system, but that is also then through a named user-based model and a licensing model of that nature. But obviously, when you are at the point where we want to talk to you and you want to understand this a bit better, that's why I've left you our contact details, so our teams can work with you to get to the best solution and best model that fits your organization. Thanks, Rocky.
So is it like a platform that we can, if we want to build our own solution around using your tool, we can work with you to kind of build that out so that we have a standard solution that's shared across the organization, just like PPM in creating projects where they're consistent, constantly working in a collaborative mode from a development standpoint to full operation. So is that the way ART can work as well?
Yeah, so ART, obviously ART has two components. It has what we call the authoring or content creation section of the tool, and that is where you can use it to create your training, your learning, your simulations, capture your processes and document that out and put it into learning modules or just into learning videos or simulations. You can do that for any application, as I said, or you can consume what we've already created for you. So very similar, you can customize that environment completely to meet your business needs, and it's very, very capable of doing that. We work with our customers obviously through a consultative process. If you want us to help you do all of your customizations and modify it all for you to be specifically tailored to your organization, that can be done, and we can either show you how to do it yourself so you are self-sufficient, or our team in software education can help do that on your behalf with your team's guidance. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, and it tailored right into another question is, does HP create the learning, or do we pay for the application and create our own, or both? And I think you kind of answered it could go either way.
Both, yes. So the customer will, you as a customer will purchase the rights to use the content creation solution, and that's where everybody in the organization can create content, contribute, capture, and document out, and that all then feeds into the centralized Enterprise Learning Edition server, and then you would be able to create that courses or modules, or just simply have the videos to reference back to, or the simulations. But then also you have the ability to purchase the HPE Software expert built content that we've pre-created for our customers, and that basically that really gives you that speed at quickly enabling your teams, but the ability to also then update or edit that very quickly and very easily. And the power of ART and Enterprise Learning Edition comes in that single source that you create and capture, so that when there's any changes or any updates that need to be made to that content that we've given you or that you've created yourself, it's very quick and very easy. Within literally a few seconds, you can update the whole process and republish that out as a new module in your learning e-learning course. Thanks, Rocky.
Well, it seems like it would be a no-brainer for an organization to get involved with this technology. Number one, we find that employees tend to stay with companies when they're giving learning and growth opportunities versus not learning, not training, and that kind of thing. But number two, if I can only spend 20 minutes or a half hour or an hour at a time, any time of the day, I can go back into this system and pick out the information that I need to learn or refresh to do my job. And for young employees or new employees coming into the organization, they're getting the same consistent message. So it seems like a no-brainer. But you know, here's one of the questions: is, you know, where do I start if I want to look at this, you know, learning solution?
So that's a really good question. What we normally would suggest is looking at, before you jump into, okay, what digital learning tool are we going to buy, or how are we going to do digital learning, we really say to customers, let's define your overall organizational plan in terms of your top priorities that you want to focus upon. We generally work with the customer's executive team to deliver what we call a competence transformation workshop. So it's looking at the competency and the skills and maturity of your workforce and your employees that are using the technology and solutions. We work with that executive team to say, what are the transformational goals that you want to achieve, in which period, and then once we understand all of those, we can then start guiding and recommending the best practice of how the digital learning solution can touch all of the areas and goals and aspirations of the executive leadership. Does that help?
Okay. That does, yes. Another question is it a cloud-based solution? How do enterprises protect their content?
So this is the ART and ART Enterprise Learning Edition is not a cloud-based solution right now. You can have it as an on-premise solution, or we can host the content on your behalf once we've created it for you. and that obviously is stored in a secure HPE data center and managed with those kind of security standards around that. What we do also offer is access, as I've said, to the hosted interactive art content, so those courses that we've pre-created with our subject matter experts. Customers, employees subscribe to accessing that content, but that content obviously is general purpose and generally available, and it is uncustomized. So if your 10,000 employees just want to learn how to use the HPE Records Manager or Content Manager solution, they can all go there and really get a good grip on how to use a new solution that HPE has just implemented and rolled out for you. If you want it to be tailored so that we bring in your processes, we do that for you using the ART tool, and then you have the option of having that on-premise in your LMS, hosted on a website, or we can host it for you in our environment as well.
Great.
Thanks, Rocky.
I have another question. What are some of the approaches you would recommend when looking to address change in terms of digital learning transformation?
That's a really, really long answered question, if I can say. we could probably talk about this for a couple of days, but I think that would probably dovetail on the answer that I gave previously when we look at working with exec teams in doing the transformation workshop. The next step that we would normally take in the approach is to conduct what we call an organizational needs analysis. So this will help us to understand the roles and responsibilities of the workforce, where their skills are today, in terms of delivering results to the business, what the gaps are in achieving the objectives that they need to meet, and what the gaps there are in terms of their learning and their maturity in being effective and being able to innovate, and really then looking at lastly at how digital learning supports that organizational competence plan as a whole. So organizational competency is first and foremost the strategy that we will define with you through the transformation workshop, and then through the needs analysis, and then the digital learning solutions with HPE ART and ART Enterprise Learning Edition obviously becomes part of delivering the competence plan to your organization. So that would be the sort of starting point of the approach.
Sure. No, that sounds great. And let's see. Well, one of the questions I see here is, what are typical features to consider when reviewing or looking to implement a solution like this?
Right. So this is where we start looking at features of functions and things like that, which to me, obviously, that's a second focus area. We need to make sure that we understand the business value and the return on investment that it brings to your business, which ART is really, really good at. But I think the thing is looking at holistic content creation and management and distribution solutions. So there are loads and loads of solutions in the market, and smaller solutions that are really good at capturing a little video or little simulations, or tools that really capture just these sort of PowerPoint-based type learning courses online, or virtual instructor-led courses and things like that. But really, when we look at ART and Enterprise Learning Edition and what it brings, it is a truly holistic content creation. It deals with the content management and then the distribution of that content through the learning methods to the end users. So for me, it's absolutely looking at, as an organization and enterprise, not just selecting singular capabilities of what something does really good in terms of its snazzy video base, but looking at the entire life cycle of your e-learning and content management solution. Being able to have a solution that can also capture in multiple languages, deliver and publish out into multiple languages. The key thing that we always speak about is the ability to create a single source data, because once that single source has been captured, you can change it, you can rapidly update it, and then you can post that out and consume it and give it to the users to consume in multiple different sources. So whether that be any PowerPoint output or a simulation output or a document or an Excel output. So what we really do is looking at that single source powerful creation capability that permeates into multiple different formats but allows you that rapid change and creation and updates, because you don't want static learning and you don't want to start reinventing the wheel every time from scratch.
Well, it comes out differently. It comes out differently depending on who's providing the information, whoever the SME is or the subject matter expert that day, because it changes, right? So that consistent learning is key. And, I'm just going to throw a question out there. I don't know if you can answer it, but what's the feedback you're getting from customers, good, bad, or ugly? If they've had issues, how do we solve those issues? Or just anything in general from what you're hearing from customers that are using the tool, so that, our members can get a feel for, how it's being perceived in the marketplace and that whatnot. So,
well, from my perspective, absolutely incredible feedback in terms of the market. We have over 500 plus install-based customers across the globe, large logo customers, reference customers. We've also included here in this deck a little later on some links where you can go and look at some videos of how customers have used art and enterprise learning to become amazing IT teams through their learning and content solutions. The feedback is absolutely also, we've seen that with these solutions, it's imperative that you also have a centralized team or one or two key members that can steer and guide that centralized control, making sure the disciplines are there and everything is controlled, but then also making sure that the tool is used across the business for multiple. So what we see is customers would purchase ART and Enterprise Learning Edition to really address their HPE Software learning and new implementation learning. But then when they start realizing the power of that content creation and capture engine, they start using it in multiple different use cases and multiple different business areas. And then it becomes a real, what we call a content factory, so that all of your people and all of your business users become SMEs, subject matter experts. All of the business users can actually create, capture, document, and then feed into a centralized learning environment. So customers see massive benefit, obviously, through the HPE software learning and implementations that they do, and the tool supports that extensively. But then we also see broader use cases permeate from that throughout their organization. Thanks.
So not only can the tool do all these great things, but I think it can create new careers for people. This is a new and exciting place, an opportunity to grow your skills and to provide a service to your company that didn't exist prior effectively.
Absolutely. So, we've seen customers, just on the slide here, Equifax, one of our customer testimonials. She's the centralized director for the Center of Excellence in terms of enablement and training. And the lady on this video speaks about how she believes that the ART solution actually saved her a job because of what she was able to do with that. So yes, creating new opportunities for people within the business, but also driving that maturity and skills growth to be able to take your organization from where they are today to becoming that the technology becomes an enabler to be innovative. And you can only do that with the right skills and with the right maturity and with the right enablement.
No, that's great. I think this really ties in well with, from a Vivid perspective and our members worldwide, we have an education SIG. And we should make sure that we tie in ART and any communication from ART to our education SIG to keep our members informed of what's going on with the ART solution, to support their efforts with regards to keeping their applications up and running and the education thereof. So This has been great, Jeanette, but I think that's all the questions that I've seen so far. Again, we have a few more minutes if people want to ask questions. Boy, it's just, I think it's just a great topic that doesn't always get the attention of some of the enterprise solutions. It's always, unfortunately, sometimes education's an afterthought. And I've seen, we've gone from the point where we used to travel to go get certified for solutions to work within our company, and to the point where it's almost cost prohibitive to do that, because you're looking at time away from the office, you're looking at travel expenses and all that, where you can provide it to my desktop now. And so sounds good.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rocky. That really helps with your contribution there. I'm just moving on for you, Rocky.
Yes, thank you. So for everyone on the call, if you haven't heard, Discover is in London again this year, and it was a great turnout last year. It was a great event, great venue, and I encourage you, if you're especially in the EMEA APJ region, to find a way to attend or try to put these events in your budget. It's just a great place to network with your peers, learn from the ground up what's happening in the technologies that your companies are using, and take advantage of all the keynotes. So now's the time to register. I think we're going to have a new registration link coming up soon that you'll see from us, that will give you a discount, a better discount to register. So that'll be great. Next. I think there was one more maybe. Yeah, here it comes. So if you need help on convincing management to send you to Discover London, here's some of the top 10 reasons to attend. So take advantage of that as well. And I think that's probably the end. Yes. So at the end of this webinar, you'll be asked to complete a short survey, and please fill it out. It'll help us prepare for future events, or if you like this content, let us know. Again, it will be recorded, and you will get a notice in a few days or within a week of this content with answers to all the questions. And with that, we'll let you go and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.